inner conscious speaking to you. Fuck everyone that wants to ride the dick now. It's unacceptable.
All right, YouTube, what is going on? It is your boy Jarice back at it with another episode of
Real Talk.
This time with audio, but today's topic, Mayor Eric Adams.
What?
Because apparently he don't like all the migrants that he's getting up in New York, because I guess it was all good down when they was just coming in Texas and Cali and New Mexico and all the border states, but now that we busting them up to y'all, now it's a problem, huh? But let's get into the clip, right?
We're getting no support on this national crisis. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to.
Besides your receding hairline?
I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
An urgent message from New York City Mayor Eric Adams as the number of migrants who have arrived in the city since last April hits 110,000. The influx has strained resources, with Mayor Adams estimating the crisis could cost potentially $12 billion over the next 3 years.
Can we get a round of applause for that? Yeah, 12 billion? Remember, guys, these are your tax dollars, your tax dollars being spent by politicians that you put in office because they have a D in front of their name.
To help counter that, he's asking every city agency to reduce spending by up to 15% in the coming months. President Biden is facing calls to take federal action from Mayor Adams and New York Governor Kathy Hochul, as well as Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who are facing a migrant crisis of their own.
Literally, New York and Chicago. Two of the most blue liberal cities, and now they want help from the federal government as per usual, because hey, we want to let all the migrants in, but we don't want to deal with it because we're thousands of miles away, so in theory we'll never have to deal with this problem, because there's no way all those migrants that are flooding Texas and stuff will make it all the way up to all the way up to New York and Chicago, right? There's no possible way. They don't have any money. They're coming into the country undocumented, broke, no money. How are they going to make it all the way to New York and Chicago?
We reached out to the White House for comment, and they provided a list of actions it's taken, including assisting the state and city of New York with more than $140 million in.
All right, we can pause it right there if you want to read it, or you can pause the video yourself.
Federal funding this year. Agency heads, they must slash their budgets by 15% by next spring to compensate for the increasing costs of the migrant crisis. Is this a way to put pressure on New York State and the federal government? What was your thought process in making this decision?
No, not at all. And first of all, I'm glad you played that clip at the top of this conversation, because there's a clear distortion that my comments were anti-immigrant, anti-migrant. The Trump Republicans are trying to
Always got to bring up Trump, huh? You always got to bring up Trump.
use it as such, which is not true. And then even the far left is trying to use it as anti-immigrant. We've done more than our share. Over 110,000 migrants have arrived in the city, 60,000 still remaining in our care. And the announcement we made yesterday is stating that we have to go and do several rounds of finding cost efficiency, 5%, 3 times in a row. That's 15%. We've already spent, and this year we're going to spend up to $5 billion. Think about
Woo! $5 billion. Oh my God.
that for a moment. Getting $140 million on a $5 billion national price tag is not acceptable. And these efficiencies are going to come from communities that are already struggling, communities that are in need, predominantly black and brown communities. This is wrong for the migrants to go through this, and it's wrong.
There is no black and brown. There is black, then there is brown. Black and brown do not coexist. A lot of the brown people don't like the black people. A lot of the black people don't like the new brown people. We're not all in this together. This is not High School Musical, good sir. I don't even think I still have that clip. Hold on. Do I still have it?
We're all in this together.
Yeah, blacks and Hispanics aren't over there just chilling in the hood like that. So, sorry, bro. I hate to break it to you.
Wrong for long-standing New Yorkers that are struggling to go through this.
So you anticipated the next question I was going to ask. You think the $140 billion is insufficient. So let me ask you about something else you've asked from the Biden administration. You've asked them to expand temporary protected status to migrants, which would enable them to look for work and expedite the process of applying for asylum. The president's been reluctant to do so. Why do you think President Biden isn't ready to take that action?
I cannot quite explain that, but I do know this: the precursor to sleep that allows us to experience the American dream is our right to work. Every immigrant that has arrived at our shores had the ability to absorb oneself into our society by the right to work. This is so anti-American to tell people they have to come here anywhere from up to 2 years sometimes and not be able to provide for themselves. And I agree with the Chicago mayor, the mayor of Los Angeles, of Houston, the governor of Massachusetts. All of us are saying a national problem should not be placed on the backs of everyday Americans. No city should be going this. And that's going through this, including El Paso and Brownsville.
Yeah, but you basically kind of set them up to go through this by saying, hey, we're going to be the people who freaking endorse you coming over here illegally because we're an asylum city or we're a sanctuary city. Sorry, sanctuary city. So, hey, if you can make it to the States and you make it to New York or Chicago, you're safe. And shout out to Specialist over here just chilling.
Mayor, let me get your thoughts on some criticism on the right, because critics on the right have noted that New York City is a sanctuary city, and this migrant
Trump like Republicans. Blah, 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 blah. Yep. And the far left, and yep, those darn Trump like Republicans.
crisis comes with that territory. What do you say to those who think you relinquish your right to complain about the stresses it places on your city because of that?
Well, I think that those comments coming from those far-right Trump-like Republicans who
Again, I watched this video once yesterday. Didn't even really pay that much attention to it. But generally speaking, you know how these operate. Black, leftist, liberal dudes, Democrat, vote blue, no matter who. Golly, ride or die Democrat. If you don't know if you're voting for me or Trump, then you ain't black. That's this dude right here. That's this guy. He's the guy.
continue to try to distort the reality that we do not have real immigration reform, that we should allow a true decompression strategy, protect our borders in the right way, and make sure that when you look at this city, the status of right to shelter, of no one who created this decades ago took into account that we were talking about hundreds of thousands of people potentially coming to the city. So we are in court now, and we are looking at how do we properly address the issue of right to shelter and dealing with this humanitarian crisis of an epic proportion.
Yeah, you just wanted those hundreds of thousands to flood Texas and New Mexico and all the southern states. That's what it was. But now that we just dropped them off at your doorstep, oh, now it's a big deal. Now we got to go to court. Now we need billions of dollars. But you know, y'all was all cool and just chilling when they was just down in the South. Mm-hmm. Oh, how the cookie crumbled. Y'all thought it was just gonna be Latinos. Oh, no. You got the Africans that are flying all the way over from Africa and then traveling up Southern America to get to the United States through the southern border. Oh my God, you gotta love it.
Some Republican leaders initiated this crisis by busing migrants to Democratic-led cities like New York. And
no, the Democratic leaders initiated this crisis by saying, hey, come on in. We're a sanctuary city. If you can get here, then you're safe. We won't deport you. Those are the people who initiated this crisis.
Now they're using it for more political gain by highlighting your critical comments of the president. Do you have any trepidations about the political fallout New York Democrats may face in 2024 if this crisis isn't mitigated?
I had a conversation yesterday with Congressman Jeffries, the minority leader of the Democratic Party, the Democratic congressional delegation, and he was clear as well. We know how severe this issue is to not only the city of New York, but the state of New York. New York City is the economic engine of this entire state, and we need a decompression strategy in the state as well as in the city. And I'm elected for one purpose, and that is to protect the people of New York City. And this.
No, you're elected for one purpose. You're black, you're bought and paid for, you're easily controlled, and you're a Democrat. The people who really run the city behind the scenes know that, hey, all they got to do is slide a little bit of money in your pocket, and then you'll get whatever they want done. Let's just be honest, Eric. Let's just be honest.
This is impacting the amazing recovery we went.
Like, you're just a figurehead, bro. Like, you don't actually run anything.
This after COVID, economic recovery, returning jobs, making our city safer and decrease in serious violence, us watching our children return to school with a new mission and goal. All of these successes are going to be hampered by what we're about to experience with the 5% cut 3 times in a row, which is going to equal 15%, as well as just the infrastructure issue that's going to come with this crisis. We're about to potentially have to move women and children to sleep in congregate settings, outdoors, in tents. This is unacceptable. This is not what our city stands for.
Mayor, in response to your comments that the migrant crisis, quote, will destroy.
I had to sleep outdoors in tents when I was in the military, so they'll be fine.
Here's criticism from the left. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted that, quote, blaming immigrants for the crisis is not leadership, and added that the White House does need to step up. We have solutions. Alienating people isn't one of them. What's your response to those calling your message alienating?
Well, clearly, when you look at this city is a city of immigrants. The difference in the historical role of those who came through Ellis Island, and one year we had over 1 million that actually came through Ellis Island. What they were allowed to do, they were allowed to work. And I understand when you hear those on the far left that are stating how we're dividing the city, but the reality is I need for them to step up. I visited the Hercs. I spent the night in the Herc talking to asylum seekers. I know what it takes to govern the city, and I need them to do their job in Washington, D.C., and ensure that over a year and a half, that New York City has carried this burden alone. Like other cities, it is time for my national leaders to step up. I'm hoping that the Congresswoman will come in and walk through and see the conditions and how we cannot properly take care of those who are in these Hercs if we don't get the resources we need, and it will potentially destroy this city if we don't get it right.
That's a long-winded way of saying, hey, send us more money. Jesus Christ. That is a very long-winded way of saying, hey, send us more money because reasons. Because we literally said, hey, immigrants, we want you here. And then when the governors of the southern states abided by your request of, hey, we're a sanctuary state, we like immigrants. We like all the migrants. Send them all. And now you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Not all these migrants. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But since you got them all here, just go ahead and send us some money. Because I'm sure that money will be distributed and appropriated to all the right places. Right? Right?
Mr. Barrett, pardon me, what is a Herc?
That's a humanitarian relief center. We have shelters that we create, over 200 shelters we have opened, and we also have created what's called humanitarian relief centers. Those are those large tents that you're seeing that's holding sometimes up to 1,000 people.
Mr. Mayor, as you are well aware, Monday marks 22 years since the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Any reflections on the anniversary and the nearly 3,000 lives lost on that day?
Yes, I recall greatly. I still think about it. Not only some personal friends I lost during September 11th, as well as my kid brother was a sergeant in the police department at the time. I was a lieutenant, and for several periods of time, we were unable to connect with each other. And I was concerned. And even after I reached him, I couldn't exhale because we know hundreds and thousands lost their lives. And it's a reminder to us all that as we go through these difficult times, we reflect on September 11th tomorrow, but also remember September 12th. This city got up. When we got up, America watched us. We were grounded.
Okay. Now you're just trying to earn cool points for being old and being a part of 9/11. I was in first grade when 9/11 happened, so I remember where I was. So if any of you old heads try to be like, where were you during 9/11? Like, yeah, I was in a hallway freaking tucked with my knees in my chest for some reason, because I guess they thought if they could fly a plane into a building in New York, they could fly a plane into a school in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina. But that's neither here nor there. But closing thoughts. What do we have? We have genius over here, Eric Adams, decided to declare the city a sanctuary city, which basically means bring all the migrants. We dropped off all the migrants, and now he's complaining. You don't have the right to complain, bro. You brought this on yourself. So have fun with your migrants. Replace all the gangbangers, the drug dealers, and the ghetto blacks that you want, because we all know that's what they're really for. You're just trying to replace black folks with Hispanic folks because they'll actually work and abide by some laws. But it is what it is. So replace all the blacks with the Hispanics that you want, and you keep it pushing. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it is what it is. But with that, that's all I got for y'all, man. It's been your boy Jarice, back with another episode of
Real talk.
Live stream Thursday, 7:30. Be there. I'm out.
Before you go, you need to tap into your mind. Open up your skull, stop living life blind. Before you go, you need to tap into your mind. Open up your skull, stop living life blind. Before you go, you need to tap into your mind. Open up your skull, stop living life blind. Before you go, you need to tap into your mind. Open up